Shalom, shalom, shalom. Before I get the session started, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakodash, and double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone of whom I learned from. And shalom to the shalom to the hopefully elect brothers taking this truth to the four corners of the earth, bidding the elect spirits of Yahshua to the marriage supper of the Lamb. This is who is Yahweh Shai. This is your brother Radah. This. I want to tell you guys something. This is why I say what I say. This is why those of us who follow GMS, who agree to the same doctrine and who understand what it means to give double honors to the elders and apostles whom we learn from. I have told you guys time and time again, man. I understand that I have my own walk with Yahweh Shai. I understand that when Jacob's trouble hits, most likely I will probably not be in contact with the majority of the brothers who I am in contact with now, who are official members of GMS. I probably won't be in contact with them, not because of any transgression or sin, but because Jacob's trouble, man. We're going to be nomadic. I'm understanding that I have an independence in Yahweh Shai, but it's not at the level of arrogance where I don't think I need these men in my life. Okay, I want to tell you, okay, we all know that Peter and John were both apostles of Yahweh Shai, right? And we understand that Peter is the head apostle, right? We understand that Peter got revelation. He even got revelation of who Yahweh Shai is before the other apostles did. Remember when Yahweh Shai asked him, who do men say that I am? And Peter was the one that said, you are the Hamashiach. He said it before the other 11 apostles did. And Yahweh Shai said, blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father in heaven revealed. That's a major revelation, because remember in the book of 2nd Esdras, when the angel Uriel is telling Ezra that when I'm saying all this, I'm laying foundation. I'm gonna go somewhere with what happened to me this morning, listening to 2nd Esdras. 2nd Esdras. This is the Son of God. This is the, you guys go into the scriptures. Anytime Yahweh Shai was mentioned by Yahweh to the prophets, it was in the form of mystery. The Passover, it was talking about Yahweh Shai, but it wasn't straightforward. That had to be broken down. The firstborn lamb without blemish, taking his blood and sprinkling on the doorpost. That is what Yahweh Shai did later. He is the Lamb of God, but we didn't know that. No one knew that was talking about Yahweh Shai, right? Same thing with Isaac and Abraham. When Isaac goes up the mountain with Abraham for the sacrifice, that's a type and shadow of what Yahweh Shai would do, right? There's all types of hints at Yahweh Shai all throughout the Old Testament, everywhere. So by the time we get to 2nd Esdras, now it's being made plain. Okay? So he answered, look at this. Let me go back one. Hold on. Okay, so let me, Slovakia, 45, let's go down. Let's do this. Look at this. And this is why the Apocrypha is so important, man. Okay, so look, 2nd Esdras 2 and 42. Salakia, hold on real quick. Okay, Salakia, sorry for that. So look at this. This is 2nd Esdras, chapter 2 and 42. I, Ezra, saw upon Mount Zion, so right there, Revelations 14. But let's not jump all over the place. Say it slow for some of the people that are still just learning. 2nd Esdras 42, 2nd Esdras 2 and 42. I, Ezra, saw upon the Mount Zion a great people whom I could not number. And they all praised the Lord with songs. And in the midst of them, there was a young man of high stature, taller than all the rest. And upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? And he answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing and have put on the immortal, and have confessed the name of power which is Yahweh, and now are they crowned and receive palms. Verse 46, then said I unto the angel, what young person is this? Is it that crowneth them and giveth them palms in their hands? Verse 47, so he answered and said unto me, it is the Son of power. It is the Son of the Most High Yahweh of hosts, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood stiffly for the name of the Lord. It's another reason why the correct names are so important. Then the angel said unto me, go thy way and tell my people what manner of things and how great wonders of the Lord thy God thou hast seen. Let's get wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon. I am feeble. Wisdom of Solomon. I am feeble. Because this is the prayer that Yahushua, as in his lot, as King Solomon prays. So let me get them. So now I'm going somewhere. So we know that Peter, right, and John were having, before I get this, Salakia. So Peter, thou art the Christ. Salakia, because it's really Hamashiach. So look, and Simon Peter answered, so go back one. He saith unto thee, but whom say ye that I am? Yahushua was, so you got to remember, so Yahushua is now physical on the earth during the Roman rulership. We are coming out of the Grecian Empire, and now we're in the Roman Empire, right? The Roman captivity, or the Roman Empire, and Yahushua is now being revealed, which is the fulfillment of that prophecy. Those my son shall be revealed. It says it in 2nd Ezra. Actually, fuck, Salakia. Hold on. My son shall be revealed with those who are with him. Revealed with those who are with him. I got to get this too. So, bam, man, there it is. Look at that, bro. For my son Yahushua shall be revealed with those that be with him, and they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years. Okay? So these prophecies are huge. This is why Renaissance Western Christianity sucks, man. It doesn't go into the meat of any of this. So this is why their understanding is so whack, and this is why they follow Edomite Jesus, white Jesus. That's not who Yahushua is. So right here, you see Yahushua being mentioned, that he will be revealed. You see him being revealed on Mount Zion, giving us crowns, all in the book of 2nd Ezra. And then when you get to Matthew, okay, my bad. Peter, thou art the Christ. When you get to Matthew, or in the Gospels, when Yahushua asks, he saith unto them, but whom say ye that I am? We are now witnessing the recorded manifestation of those prior prophecies mentioned in 2nd Ezra about Yahushua, and Peter is one of the main ones who is with my son Yahushua shall be revealed with those who are with him. This is what Yahushua is responding to. It's prophecy, and he is a specific person. He saith unto them, but whom say ye that I am? And Simon Peter answered, saying, thou art Hamashiach, the Son of the living God. Look. And Yahushua answered and said unto him, blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood hath not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven. And I say also unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. So Peter and Yahushua are authenticating prophecy. Yahushua is authenticating Peter's authority because of Peter's revelation of who Yahushua was. So we understand, and we understand that the other apostles were with him. Now look at this. We know that Peter hears, right? We know that Peter can hear, and he's the head apostle. But look what happens when Yahushua comes back after his resurrection, and John tells Peter, it is the Lord. John tells Peter, it is the Lord. I'm showing you guys something. Okay, look at this. Therefore, that disciple, let me go back one. Look at this, man. They didn't recognize him. Look at this, you guys. This is fire. So after these things, this is the Gospel of John 21. Now Yahushua has already been to the cross. Peter, John, James, Thomas, all of them, Matthew, they've all walked with Yahushua. They know he is who he is. They're still in their early stages of their apostleship, but they believe in who he is, okay? So now they go fishing, and Yahushua he's been on the cross, and they know he's missing from the tomb now, but they don't know what's going on fully. Right? After these things, Yahushua showed himself again to the disciples at the Sea of Tiberias, and on this wise showed he himself. There were together Simon Peter, Thomas called Didymus, and Nathanael of Cana and Galilee, and the sons of Zebedee, and 2 others of his disciples. Simon Peter said unto them, I go fishing. They say unto him, we are also going to go with you. So they're all going to go fishing together, right? They went forth and entered into a ship immediately, and that night they caught nothing. So he's tired. They've been working all night. But when the morning was now come, Yahushua stood on the shore. But the disciples knew not that it was Yahushua. They didn't recognize him and these are men who have revelation of who he is. But right now, they're not seeing him. Just for a couple seconds, look at this. Then Yahushua said unto them, children. This is also, you can use this. He's the everlasting Father, you guys. Then Yahushua said unto him, children, have ye any meat? They answered him, no. And he said unto them, cast the net on the right side of the ship, and ye shall find. They cast therefore, and now they were not able to draw it for the multitude of the fishes. Therefore that disciple whom Yahushua loved, this is the youngest one out of all of them, you guys. This is the Apostle John. He is the youngest. He was the one that was resting his head on Yahushua when Peter asked John to ask Yahushua who it is concerning Judas. You got to understand this. There is rank and file here. Remember when Peter and John ran to the sepulcher to see if Yahushua was there? When John and Peter ran to the sepulcher to see if Yahushua was there, John outran him because he was younger than him. But he didn't go in out of respect. He waited until Peter showed up, and then Peter went into the sepulcher and looked and saw the napkin folded. Remember that? That's all respect, you guys. So John is the youth. He's the younger one out of all of them. And look what happens right here. Therefore that disciple whom Yahushua loved said unto Peter, so the younger prophet, the younger apostle, said to the older prophet, the older apostle, it is him, it's the Lord. And look at Peter's response. Why? Look what Peter does. Now when Peter didn't recognize Yahushua, but John recognized him first. Now when Simon Peter heard that it was the Lord, when he heard, listen to this, his ear, his supernatural ear, right? His pineal gland. I'm being straight. That's what it is. Heard the voice of John, the younger prophet, because John's a heavyweight. Even though he's the younger prophet, he's still a heavyweight. Many people believe he's Daniel. When he said, "It's Yahushua," because of who John is with Peter, and because of who John is with Yahushua, Peter already knew that the voice was qualified. He knew John wasn't full of crap. Look at his response. Now when the elder prophet, when the older apostle heard the younger apostle say something about Yahushua, now when Peter heard that it was the Lord, he girt his fisher's coat unto him, for he was naked, and he did cast himself into the sea. He just jumped butt naked in the ocean and started swimming towards Yahushua without a question. Without a question. Why? Because he understood that John was the real deal when it came to this ministry, even though he was younger than him. Peter was also a humble man. He also talked about Peter later in his book, if you read, humble yourselves one to another. I'm going somewhere with all of this. Now, me saying all of that, right? Let's go to this. Let's go here. Let's go to Yahushua. So I was listening, and I'm saying all of that. I am not an older prophet. I'm a younger prophet. But in this case, the reason why we say double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, I said everything I just said for the last 15 minutes to prove this man was speaking in this lesson.
Yeah, from every side.
And I don't know where it's at in this lesson, but he breaks out Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2. And the part that he broke out, nothing feeble. Wisdom of Solomon 2, Wisdom of Solomon 2, Wisdom of Solomon. And Wisdom of Solomon 2, from verse 10 on down. I remember when I first read this, instantly the Spirit showed me that this is the inner workings of the mindset and the DNA structure of how Esau, the so-called white man, operates with the way he writes his law in a twisted format, from a wicked perspective, to appear as he is righteous when he is in fact the wicked. I remember I instantly got the understanding that much when I read this. Verse 10 going down, let us oppress the poor righteous man, let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged. Let our strength be the law of justice. Now this was the part that I always felt confusing. For that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. I could never understand that. And it's so plain because this prophet opens it up. All he did was reverse the words. He just flipped it, and I was like, oh my God. Look what he did. So he reads because he's going into how Esau does his laws and how proud of a mindset he has. Let our strength be the law of justice. Esau, from his position of rulership, writes his fucking laws based on his fucking pseudoscience and his bullshit narrative, right? To make himself appear as righteous. And anything and everyone that is feeble, he has a disdain for. He looks down on because he is the most proud, right? So for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. For that which is feeble is worth nothing. That's what the prophet did. Something as simple as that. And instantly my brain just popped. Oh fuck! So he looks at the feeble as nothing, and I started rehearsing it. Feeble. He looks at the feeble as nothing. Nothing. Feeble is nothing worth. He looks at the feeble as nothing. And then as I began to rehearse that, I felt the Spirit of the Most High come over me, and like this gratitude, like not him being thankful to me. I was because I was like, see, it's only the men of GMS, bro. It's only the men of GMS and the men who follow GMS. That might seem very insignificant to some of you guys. It's not to me. You want to know why? Because I understand that Yahushua is the Word of God. And I understand that as we woke up, like it says in Ezekiel 37, when we started coming together, bone to bone, sinew upon sinew, our flesh and skin, our breath, as we were becoming a whole person, a whole nation, don't you think also Yahushua is becoming a whole person in our eyes too? Because now we're seeing him more clearly because we have the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. He's also taking shape in front of our eyes. And the Apocrypha is Yahushua. Just like the Bible is Yahushua. And as you get more understanding, as you get more knowledge and wisdom of the scriptures, you literally are watching Yahushua go from the Word becoming flesh. You see him taking shape right in front of your eyes, and you begin to see him more clearly. There's a place in the Wisdom of Solomon where he calls himself feeble, which means to be weak. And it's the prayer that he is praying for more wisdom, right? More wisdom. I am feeble. This is the word he calls himself when he is King Solomon. Okay? And when I pulled this up, I was like, well, who is King Solomon, you guys? King Solomon is the son of David. So he got this attitude, even though he is the son of the Most High, and as King Solomon, he's the son of David, literally. He got discipled by King David, who is the throne of David, who is the tabernacle of David, who is our king. Our king, David, discipled his own son, King Solomon, who is Yahushua, And so we see here in Psalms 38:8, I am feeble and sore broken. I have roared by reason of the disquietness of my heart. So this is his father saying this, right? And then when you do this, Wisdom of Solomon, you see him later as he is a grown man about to become king. I even believe at this time King David is dead. This is Yahushai's prayer when he's freaking out about how much he loves wisdom, and how he in chapter 8 of Wisdom of Solomon, he's just going on and on about how much of a benefit she is, how much of a friend she is, how a conversation with her and friendship with her is immortal life or eternal life, and how you can't even have you got to love her more than scepters and thrones. And then when he's realizing I want to marry her, he's speaking in poetry, but it's also reality. He's like, man, I gotta get more of her. And when I realize I can't even obtain her unless the Most High gives her to me, and then he pivots and says, and that too is a point of wisdom, knowing whose gift she is. He goes into this prayer right here, Wisdom of Solomon 9. O power of my fathers, the Lord of mercy, who hast made all things with thy word. And remember the prophecy of the prophet Nathan, the instruction, the vision that Nathan gave to King David about the birth of Solomon. My mercy will not depart from him. I will be his God or his father, and he will be my son if he transgresses. I will stripe him with the stripes of sons of men, but my mercy will not depart from him. You got to understand that King David made it a point to get all of this information into King Solomon while he was a child. I guarantee you he made it a point in his old age, because King Solomon was born at the end of David's life. Look, O power of my fathers, the Lord of mercy. Where is he? Why is he saying this? He's saying it by the Spirit, but he heard his daddy tell him that. He said his mercy will not depart from you. He will never take his mercy from you, King Solomon. This is why when we apply the name, the Son of David, to Yahushai, all of these attributes are his. Who has made all things with thy word, and ordained man through thy wisdom, that we should have dominion over the creatures which thou hast made, and order the world according to equity and righteousness, and execute judgment with an upright heart. Give me wisdom that sitteth by thy throne, and reject me not from among thy children. For I, thy servant and son of thine handmaiden, am a feeble person. I am weak. This is what the Son of David, this is what King Solomon, this is what Yahushai, the Spirit of Yahushai is. This is how he's prostrating himself before Yahweh on the planet Earth in rulership. And this is what Esau hates and cannot be and will not be. Because in Wisdom of Solomon 2, he says anything that is feeble is worth nothing. Yet Yahushai, as King Solomon, is calling himself feeble right here. And he learned it from his father, King David, who is our king, and we are a member of that household. Can you guys see that? So what I'm trying to say is, by listening to this, brother, open up a line in Wisdom of Solomon I didn't understand until now, or understand it better now, going into John, speaking to Peter, even though Peter got revelation about Yahushai. We need to listen to one another as prophets, as apostles, as Hebrew Israelites in this truth. But we need to be listening to the right ones, not just anyone. We need to listen to the ones that have been proven time and time again that they have the 100% truth, and that is the great millstone. And this is why we give double honors. Can you guys see that? And with all that, I started getting all these precepts, right? Let me see. I started getting all these precepts, and I started thinking about Yahushua, and I was like, oh my gosh, man, look at this. So, hold on. Starting from right here. Hold on. Nope. Okay, starting from right here, you got Psalms 38:8. I am feeble and sore broken. I have roared by reason of the disquietness of my heart. That's King David, right? And then his offspring, his seed, whom the Most High made a covenant with to sit on that throne forever. This is him. This is King Solomon. We also know it's Yahushua. This is his prayer. For I, thy servant and son of thine handmaid, am feeble. Just like his father is crying out to Yahweh in a humbled, prostrate, broken and contrite, acceptable manner before the Most High. And we know that King David was a man of war, that he could get down with that sword, right? We know he could leap over a wall. We know he could run through troops, you guys. But at the same time, this is the balance. This is how a Hebrew Israelite king, this is how a Hebrew Israelite man is to be. He's a badass with that sword, but he knows when to be humble and is truly humble before Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, man. You see it? This is what made King David so beautiful, you guys. And look what he did. It was able to transfer. It was able to pass to his son. And we see King Solomon doing the exact same thing before Yahweh, you guys. For I, thy servant. And we already knew he was wise before he said this prayer. And this is what he says. For I, thy servant and son of thine handmaid, am a feeble person, and of a short time. And you got to think about Adam. You got to think about Isaac. You got to think about when he came as King Solomon. Did he sin? Yeah, he sinned as Adam. He didn't sin as Isaac, we don't believe, but he still was weak. He couldn't see at the end of his life when he was blessing Jacob and Esau, right? That's feeble. And we know that he has 7 eyes and 7 horns later in Revelations as Yahushua resurrected. And right here we know that he was an amazing king as King Solomon, but he went off at the end of his life when he was old. But it was all to fulfill prophecy. For I, thy servant and son of thine handmaid, am a feeble person and of a short time, and too young for the understanding of judgments and laws. I was thinking about all of his lots. Look what he says here. So when he comes back again as Yahushua, he's a lot more mature. He's a lot more endowed with wisdom and understanding. I believe he knew. He knew exactly who he was, and he knew he was King Solomon. This is why he mentions Solomon so much. But look what he says. And he said unto them, go ye and tell that fox, talking about Herod, behold, I cast out devils, talking about a king of the Edomites. Behold, I cast out devils, and I do cures today and tomorrow, and on the 3rd day I shall be perfected. He is understanding that he is in an upward progression. He is going from glory to glory, you guys. This is now Yahushua thinking on every time he's been on the earth. He knew he was Adam. He knew he was King Solomon. He knew he was Isaac. By the time he was Yahushua, he came down to fulfill his complete calling. And even in this, he wasn't perfected yet. He wasn't all the way in his glory. He wasn't going to go off, but he wasn't in his glorified body yet. He wasn't in his glorified anything. He was still going to have to die the death of the cross, right? But he was earnestly, just like he's crying out for wisdom here, right? He's crying out for glory. You know the prayer in John 17. Now glorify me back with me with the glory that I had with thee. Give me back everything I had, right? Badass, right? So look right here, the prophecy that says when he comes back. So he's in between this prophet right here. He's in between here and this prophecy is about to be fulfilled. I shall be perfected. That the perfected is talking about what's going to happen in Isaiah 47:3. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. When he comes back, he's no longer going to be feeble. Even though this was his attitude, it was beautiful. It was discipleship. It was the inheritance of what a son receives from his father generationally, getting passed down. But now he's coming back strong. Look at this one. Isaiah 63. This is the Most High now speaking about Yahushua at the end of everything, as he's about to take the throne. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. He's no longer feeble, you guys. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat? Right here, he's not going to meet them as a man. I will take vengeance. I have trodden the winepress alone, verse 3. And of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury. And their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment, for the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeem is come. We've been blessed, you guys, from Yahweh with Yahweh Shai, to be redeemed by his blood, to know his name, and to be counted as relatives. We are related to him, bro. You guys, we are related to Yahweh Shai. The water Yahweh B'Hashem, the water Yahweh for Yahweh Shai. And we give you all the praise, all the glory, all the honor. Kal halal hamla, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, B'Hashem Rakakadash. I pray that this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, B'Hashem Rakakadash, and double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, of whom I learned from. This is your brother Adah. Shalom.